Here. And Marlon's going to be up on the stage talking with me after the movie and also playing on the piano for us, which is a great treat. This movie was one of the great hits in 1973, nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including one for Barbra Streisand as Best Actress, and 2 nominations for Marvin Hamlisch, who won both of his nominations that year for Best Song and also Best Music Score, and won the 3rd Academy Award that year for his work, the adapted music score of The Sting. So it was a great year. 3 Academy Awards. This movie did not have a really easy birth, though. Ray Stark, who was a producer who had Barbra Streisand under contract, or a contract with her at that time, wanted to get a movie that would be a sure hit for her because she'd done a film called Up the Sandbox in 1972 that was a big disaster. So he wanted to get a great hit for Barbra. So he went to the writer Arthur Lawrence and said, please write something for Barbra. And Arthur Lawrence basically came up with this story, or at least an outline for the story. And they signed Sidney Pollack to direct it, and Sidney Pollack wanted Robert Redford to co-star in it. Redford hated the script. He didn't like the whole concept of it. He thought the part of Hubble in it was very shallow, and it was, I guess, in the original screenplay, because it ended up a screenplay with 10 different writers contributing to it. Arthur Lawrence is the only one that gets credit, but 10 writers, including Francis Ford Coppola, actually worked on the script. But they kept after Redford, and he wasn't interested at all. But because Sidney Pollack, who was his friend, did it, he kept saying, well, I don't see what you see in this. Am I missing something? I keep reading these scripts, and he said, this is really junk. I don't see what you're seeing. So they did talk to some other people. They considered for a while Warren Beatty. They considered Ryan O'Neal, who Barbra Streisand worked with in What's Up, Doc. They considered Dennis Cole, the actor. They considered several other people. But they kept going back, Sidney Pollack particularly going back to Robert Redford. Well, finally it got down to Redford kept them on the, he didn't totally turn it down as time went on. He kept them on the hook a little bit because, again, his friend Sidney Pollack saw something in it and he didn't. And he was afraid that he was making a terrible mistake, but he was sure that he wasn't interested in doing it. But as they kept developing the script, the part got more complex, more interesting to Robert Redford, more colors, which is what he wanted in the part. He didn't want to play just, you know, a glamour boy in it. He wasn't interested in his career going in that direction. So anyway, finally they got down to the fact he was on the wire, and Ray Stark had about enough, and he said, look, I'll give you 1 hour to get Robert Redford to say yes or no. And if he hasn't made up his mind within that 1 hour, we get Ryan O'Neal. We go. And when he got down to the 5-minute mark, Robert Redford said, okay, I'll do it. So he did it. And of course, it was one of the great hits of his career. And it coupled with The Sting, which he was nominated for an Academy Award that year, made him a great superstar. And when you see the movie, you know why. He and Barbra Streisand got along very well during the filming, and they are magic on the screen together. And for years, people have been hoping they would do a sequel to this, and there have been rumors that it would be done, but of course it hasn't been done. So this is the one and only TV so far. Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. And of course, one thing that makes this movie so great is the music of Marvin Hamlisch and that song. And you can't hear that song without, you know, affectionately thinking of this movie and bringing back all the memories of it, and it makes the movie extra emotional and extra touching, and one of the great films. I think it was the first, well, I have to ask Marvin actually about it at that time, but I think it's, when she recorded this, it was the first #1 hit of her career that she had. Anyway, enjoy the movie, and after it's over, we'll talk to Marvin and hear him play his music, and just have a great time. Thanks.